Okay, can you believe it? It is the 27th, I think, of March. Can you believe it? The wind is blowing. I hope it doesn't make too much noise. But it's kind of warm out there, and I did shut the glass on the storm door screen because there's a lot of traffic. I'm hoping it'll help a little bit. I can dream. But I thought, it's kind of time to do a Neville. You're gonna shake it, aren't you? He's gonna shake it. Yeah, just I'll remove it. Yeah, that's better. Go lay down. So I thought it was time. I got a TBR, guys. I only have one book still on the shelf that was a definite on the TBR. I have one carryover. I have the best left questions is still on there, and the final Googe book is there, and it's not the last of all the Googes ever, but from my year of Googe. I just don't understand. But I mean, I'm still in the middle of 1, 2, 3, 4, technically 5 up there. I suspect I will get 1, 2, maybe 3 of those done. So I have done pretty well, because like this month I listened to quite a few audios. I DNF'd an audio last night, the Francis, I think it's Brody, the Kate Shackleton mysteries. There was a smutty scene. I hit skip. I was fine. And I'm like, then I'm going to find out what happened, and I'm going to be done with her. But then there was another one, so I DNF'd. Glad I only paid 99 cents a piece for them. So, for the price of, I bought 3, I think, at 99. So for $3, the price of a candy bar these days, we got rid of it. So, yeah. April has quite a few readathons and challenges and things going on that I wanted to participate in, and I've got options for it. And we're going to start with Alcott. I will try to link to some of the things, but I keep forgetting to do that. I get sidetracked. But the Alcotts, there's a Alcott April, or April Alcott. I think it's Alcott April. I pulled a few off my shelves that are my Alcott books. One of them I need to rebind, I noticed. I remember it being a bad copy. But I thought I would throw in a few. I'm not going to read this one because I've already read it. The Orchard House by Heidi Schiavaroli. If you haven't read it and you need something for Alcott April, and if there's a prompt, I don't even remember, if there's a prompt that, something inspired by Alcott, maybe. I also want to throw out, if you've ever read Oliver Optic or Horatio Algiers, I think it's either 8 Cousins or Rose and Bloom. In one of those two, Aunt Jessie makes the comment about those types of boy adventure books, rags to riches kind of things. She makes a comment that she calls them optical delusions, and it's clearly a reference to Oliver Optic and his rags to riches stories. So if you needed something a little different inspired by them, our family happens to love Now or Never, the story of Bobby Bright, but there are a lot of Optic books. You can probably get them on Kindle free or near to free, and we've got several on our shelves. But yeah, I'm just saying, it's in the books. It's one of the things that she mentions. She does it in a roundabout way so as not to have any kind of slander or libel. I'm trying to remember which way it goes. I think it's libel because it's in print. Yeah, I think. But so I just wanted to throw that out. But then I have 4 books that I pulled off the shelves that sounded good. I mean, they're all rereads for me, but still. Jack and Jill. And I don't even remember what this one's about. I haven't read this since I was a kid. So there's Jack and Jill, obviously a good one. Under the Lilacs, I think is a great choice, and it's probably what I will read simply because, hello, I always think of April and May as lilac months because here in the desert, that's when they are. Somewhere around the middle of April to the middle of May is when we have lilacs. Those few people that have them, they actually do grow well here, believe it or not. But yeah, what can I say? So I this is probably the one I'll read. But I also have An Old-Fashioned Girl, which Shalise just reread, and it's been a long time since I've read, and it is a really sweet story. I will try to remember again to link to Shalise's review of it on and read another chapter, because I pretty much agree. I loved who she was and how she had to come into her own and stand for who she was, and it's just a beautiful story. So it's a possibility because Shalise has been making me want to reread it. 8 Cousins, and even to a smaller extent Rose and Bloom. There's some really good lessons in Rose and Bloom, but 8 Cousins in particular is probably actually my favorite of hers, maybe even more than Little Women. I really love 8 Cousins. And then Garland for Girls, this is the one I need to rebind, but I think this is short stories. Yeah, it says Mayflowers, Pansies, Water Lilies. Okay, so this isn't the one. So if it's not this one, maybe it's Silver Pictures that has the story of the animal hospital in it. And that one, I loved that as a kid. I read it in something else, not realizing it was Louisa May Alcott, and then later I found it in that. So I might do that. I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to read for Alcott, April, but I will read one of them. What do you think? Under the Lilacs? It should be Under the Lilacs, huh? So there's that. And then I'm going to make myself make a decision while we're chatting on any of these. So Under the Lilacs it is. Katie over Ponybacks and Paper Tales? Yeah, Ponybacks and Paper Tales. Over at Paperbacks and Ponytails. I think this is the book that they decided to read for something. I don't remember what it was, but as soon as I saw it, I've been wanting to read this ever since I got it, and ever since someone told me to read it, and I've even had it on my TBR and it's not made it to, so I decided this was the month. So I'm going to join in and I'm reading that. And then there's a flowers thing going on. And I'm going to throw in a few Hollish books. I've had a few books come in since the other day. They literally came in like an hour after video was recorded. So I'm gonna share them. But okay. But since there's flowers going on, I just wanted to show this because it's such a beautiful cover. I thought this had flowers on it, and this was going to be it. Unbetrothed by Candace Pedraza Yemnitz. Or is it Yemenitz? No, it's Yemenitz. But it's not going to happen this month because there's no flowers. But I had to show it because I pulled it off the shelf for that reason. So my options for flowers, because there's some flower, I'll put what it is, some flower thing. Readathon challenge, something or another. But this is one of the books that came in. I talked to Melissa Chapin on the podcast recently. She's the one who wrote the Piper Haydn. I had 2 different music teachers that said it differently, so I say it both ways. But she does those like cozy mysteries. They're super cute. And but when I talked to her, I found out about this one that I didn't know about. Hiding from her tainted past unraveling a long-buried secret, let the truth set her free. Wisconsin, present day, Audra March's adult life is haunted by a teenage misstep. Taking an assumed name and enjoying simple things, the 30-something comes upon a vintage recipe box while thrift shopping and hunts down the owner's daughter. So when a longtime adversary threatens her with blackmail, she jumps at the invitation to escape to the dead lady's estate and avoid an old enemy. And then it's split time and it goes to Kentucky in the 40s. There's that one. And I haven't read this one yet. Liz Tolsma, Remember the Lilies. I read Snow on the Tulips and Daisies Are Forever and really loved both of those. So yes, because yes. How will 2 very different people find love and survive the impossible circumstances of war? I think this is why this one has been such a long thing. That opening doesn't grab me. And Liz Tolsma, if I have one criticism of her, she has these intense protestations of undying love, and they're very gushy, and it's so not me. So when I saw that, I think that's why I've held back. But 1941, Rand Sterling was a wealthy and womanizing club owner and an American of note among expats and locals alike. Now, 2 years later, Rand is just another civilian prisoner of war, one whose planned escape from the Santo Tomas internment camp could put him and others in grave danger. Irene Reynolds grew up as a missionary kid in the Philippine jungle. Now she works for the paranoid Japanese authorities, delivering censored messages to the other American prisoner in Santo Tomas. Oh gosh, this actually sounds better than I thought. When Irene's negligence leads to Rand's failed escape attempt, Rand is sent to the torture chambers of Fort Santiago, and Irene suffers under the weight of her guilt. Yet when she crosses paths with Rand again after his unexpected return to the camp, something more than mere survival draws the unlikely pair together. This takes place in Manila as well. I mean, so this takes place in the South Pacific. This is different. The others were definitely Germany and Holland. So this is, oh boy. And I'm going to go with this one because I've had it longest. Yes, that's a good reason to choose that one. And then the next thing I have is my Trollop. I'm almost done with Dr. Thorne, so I'll be reading Framley Parsonage. I'm loving Dr. Thorne, and my only complaint about him has been the introductions to the books he sets it all up, and it can take 100 pages to get it set up, and that didn't happen with Dr. Thorne, so I have high hopes. But yeah, that's my next one of those. And then my next buzzword readathon, I don't remember what the buzzword was, but I'll put it here somewhere. But Listening Valley by D.E. Stevenson is the book. Is this the sequel? I feel like this is the sequel to either Celia's House or, a companion piece to Celia's House. It follows Antonia. So Antonia Melville was fragile and shy as an adolescent, overshadowed by a beloved and adventurous sister. She's often found contented by slipping into the listening valley of her imagination. How Antonia emerges from her private cocoon is the subject of this engaging novel, one of D.S. Stevenson's best. Okay, and I love that there's this giant list of Stevenson books. I'm like, yes. So yeah, I loved Celia's House. It was one of my favorites, and Antonia was actually a really neat character. So I'm eager to get into this one. So there was that. And then finally, I'm switching over to, I think, the Doyle side, if I recall correctly, but I don't have to yet, so I could be wrong and then it won't matter. But this is a redheaded character this time, Catherine Wentworth. It took me a while to find something in this book, but I did find something about red hair, and so I think we're good. I did that back when I was choosing all my books. But Catherine Wentworth, a pretty courageous widow with the task of bringing up 3 children and making her way alone in the world, is the appealing heroine of this touching love story, executed by D.E. Stevenson's characteristic freshness and charm. The 39th novel from the beloved author of The Blue Sapphire, which I own and have not read, Belle Lamington, have not read or heard of, and Fletcher's End, again, have not read or heard of. This new work centers around Catherine Wentworth, married at age of 19 to a man whom she was very much in love, widowed after only 4 years of happiness with Gerald. There is a Gerald in another book. I feel like I said this before. But anyway, she's raising her children wisely. She has twins, I think it is, and I think it's told in the first person, I think it says. Yes, told in the first person. Oh, dear. But then it takes up these kids. It takes the kids into an older age. Simon, her stepson Simon, as well as her own twins, Daisy and Dennis. So she has a stepson, and then he grows up and he can inherit or reject the inheritance which his father rejected. So yeah, because yeah. And then I have a couple of books that I chose to add to those, even though they're not part of any challenge. But you know, everything doesn't have to be a challenge, right? I do want to finish this series. Boy, this is the month for finishing series. I want to read Legends by Denver Evans. This is the last one in the series, and I want to finish it. Part of this feels familiar, but it says, an unwanted adventure, a mysterious enemy, and a breathtaking sacrifice. Emerson has plans to stay in his cozy workshop and work in peace as autumn and winter pass. Plans to work hard enough to distract himself from Sarah Begley's absence. Right, I have not read this. Plans of becoming a successful inventor in order to, well, he's not thought that all the way through. But all his plans are ripped away in one evening when Elton Thorne returns from a quest and unwittingly brings dangerous pursuers straight to the Cadwell's door. Kidnapped from his home and catapulted into an adventure he didn't ask for, Emerson enlists Saraya, I keep calling her Sarah, but it's Saraya, sorry, and Coral to heal Ianthe Brighthelm's mind. Perhaps she will know who's pursuing them and why. An unfinished invention is waiting for him at home, and he can't wait to return to the quiet sanctuary of his workshop. But the danger is larger than he could have guessed, not only to them, but to those he loves, but also to the island chain he calls home. An ancient Emery is plodding across the sea, and he means to take everything, even Emerson's very identity, from the one young man who has unwittingly thwarted him at every turn. Thaw, thaw, thaw. So these are, technically I think you would call them YA, but they don't feel YA. There's not a whole lot of angst. And the romance is almost more alluded to than actually there. It's very subtle, very minor. It's not the point of the story. And so that makes me very happy. Denver Evans is Perry Kirkpatrick, who wrote the Accidental Case Files of Emily Abbott. So there's that. And then it's time. I'm going to read The Thursday Murder Club. Everybody knows about this book. I don't have to tell you what it's about. Octogenarians or septuagenarians or some kind of genarians have a club to solve cold case, end up solving real case. It's time. I have not read this, and I want to read it. And I told myself I couldn't buy book 4 until I read it. And my mom has read the other ones. So she's waiting for book 4 because I didn't think that through. So I'm going to read this one this month, and then no guilt in buying book 4. Now, I bought a few, well, I'm just going to show the books that have come in really fast. Nowhere Boy, Catherine Marsh, the gal who wrote The Lost Year, Refugees in Belgium. Sins of the Past by Bethany Classen. This is a Western. One deadly mistake, one searching heart, one redeeming truth. Matthew Ellison escapes his dangerous lifestyle to take refuge in the small town of Albury, Texas. Wanting only to forget his past and the pain associated with it, he settles into the community with hopes of a new beginning. But danger has a way of following him, and Matthew soon has to make a decision. Leave town or stay unprotected. So it's like a old school, straight up Western. And yeah, I was so excited. I was talking to her and I'm like, I'm so glad. I don't think there's enough Christian fiction straight up Western, and this is faith filled. And then I got the final Dear Mrs. Bird, Mrs. Porter Calling, and I want to finish those up and see. Some people haven't liked book 2, but I have heard good things about book 3. So I loved book 1, loved it, but oh my gravy. See, Mom didn't like it. And I just realized, I think she read book 2 first, which is the one that a lot of people haven't liked. Huh. Oh well. Whatever. And then we went to the thrift store today. I'm going to fly through showing you what I got. I got some that I think I already own, but I went ahead and grabbed them in case I was wrong. And yeah, because why not? But so like I found a hardbound copy of The Outsiders, grabbed it. Another Ellis Peters. I don't think this is a Cadfael. Yeah, Brother Elric did. No, I don't know if it's Cadfael or not. Yeah, Brother Cadfael. But Rose Rent, I'm just slowly grabbing those as I find them. I found an Estes, Eleanor Estes, The Moffat Museum. It's one of the Moffat books. I believe there are multiple Moffat books, but I don't have any of them. Why? I don't know, because no. And then I found this one. It is Banana Cottage by Elsie Milligan. Never heard anything about it. I was just kind of flipping through it. But there's a hymn. O God of Bethel, by whose hand thy people are still fed, who through this weary pilgrimage hast all our fathers led. So here's another one, Up from the Gravy Rose. I mean, clearly the right weekend for that, right? But it sounded like it might be kind of a mission-ish story. It was given to someone on Christmas of '61, but U.S. Distributors, Christian Literature Crusade from Washington, Pennsylvania. So I don't know anything about this book at all. There's no dust jacket, so I can't read. But I thought, for 50 cents, why not find out? Why not? So hopefully it'll be a cool book. He's really enjoying that bone. And I found a Newbery Honor. I don't know anything about it. Hattie Big Sky. For most of her life, 16-year-old Hattie Brooks has been shuttled from one distant relative to another. Tired of being Hattie here and there, she summons the courage to leave Iowa and move by herself to Vida, Montana, to prove up on her late uncle's homestead claim. At least now my letters will be more interesting, she writes to her good friend Charlie, who is fighting the Kaiser in France. Oh, so it's a World War I-ishness. Ah. Under the Big Sky, Hattie braves weather, hard times, a cantankerous cow, and her own hopeless hand at a cook stove. Her quest to make a home is championed by new neighbors, Perilee Mueller and her German husband and their children. For the first time in her life, Hattie feels part of a family, finding the strength to stand against Taft-Martin's schemes to buy her out and against increasing pressure to be a loyal American at a time when anything or anyone German is suspect. Despite daily trials, Hattie continues to work her uncle's claim until an unforeseen tragedy causes her to search her soul for the real meaning of home. Lovingly stitched together from Kirby Lawson's own family history and the sights and sounds and sense of homesteading life, this young pioneer story celebrates the true spirit of independence. That sounds amazing. I just grabbed it because it was Newbery Honor and it was pretty, and I was like, why not? I didn't even bother to look. Oh, that was because I didn't have my glasses. That's why I didn't bother to look. I didn't realize it at the time, but it just hit me now. It was like instinct. It looks good. We'll try it. 50 cents, why not? But yeah, I'm just gonna slide that right onto the TBR pile. Yeah, let's do that. I grabbed ABC Murders. It's like falling apart. It's got a little chip off, but I don't own it. And I think it was a quarter. So, yeah. They also had a couple of the Emily books. And I grabbed them because I didn't know if number 4 daughter would like them with her Anne collection. Why not? And then another Agatha Christie curtain. Again, there's like, what is it with these little pieces torn off? Like, because why? But I have never read Curtain. It's Hercule Poirot's Last and Greatest Case. I've never read it. So, we'll read it. There was a super cute, brand new, unread copy of Pippi Longstocking. Oh, I lied. I think someone had started it because the flat bookmark was inside. But clearly didn't finish it. So I grabbed it because Pippi and because Longstocking. I'm pretty sure I own this one. I should own it. But on the off chance, oh, how funny. The previous owner of this book, I'm not going to show her address. She's got a label in here. The previous owner of this book lives 5 streets over. But I went ahead and grabbed it because why not? I cannot imagine that I don't own it. I think I own it in hardback, but I grabbed it because A, Michael Phillips, B, I love this book, and C, you never know who's going to want one. So I can always take it back. 50 cents, why not? I saw someone talking about this book. I don't remember if they liked it. So do you know anything about Rump, the true story of Rumpelstiltskin? By Liesl Shirtliff. Does anyone know anything about this? Am I going to like it? Do I want to keep it? Do I want to get rid of it? I just decided to grab it. I can always take it back. There's no reason not to. So tell me, do I want it? I don't know. And then there was an Encyclopedia Brown, which I own none of. And I think I have a grandson who liked them. So I'm wondering if another grandson would like them. Look, there's a little flippy thing. But it also has one of the old... That's too cute. So about, let's see, there's Debbie and Hannah and Brian and Tish and Mike and Alex and Wendy and Kelly and Jerry and Brian. Different Brian. Jason, Brandon, Trevor. I think it says Trevor. Not Trevor. Trevor. Interesting. Stephen, Laura, David, Amber, Adam, Christian, Karina, Chuck, Lindsay, Matthew, and Chris. I would say there are more boys who have checked this out than girls, which is kind of nice because you don't always see that. But I don't know. Yeah. I was like, why not? So I went ahead and grabbed it. There's no reason not to. And finally, last thing I snagged was watercolor handbook. Someone bought it from Ross. But I went ahead and grabbed it because I was like, why not? It has information on, you know, how to make different types of strokes with the brush, with the watercolors, and make it work. And will I use it? I don't know. But if I don't, I'll give it back. But I thought it would be an interesting thing to look through because reasons. And number 7 daughter is an artist, so she might want to look at it too. No reason not to. That's it. That's what I'm going to read. Nice little stack here. Like that. There we go. So, yeah, I have quite a nice little stack of books that not too overwhelming. And yeah, and I have cut my what I have to write next month down from 2 to 1 before the middle of the month. So because of that, this is definitely pretty doable. I'm excited. It's a little cockeyed. Feels like it's gonna fall over. But those are my books. What you reading? Did I miss any like amazing shouldn't miss it for the world challenges that I might want to know about? I have a wrap up coming. Talk about the books I've read. I've read quite a few. I've already talked about half of them. But yeah, got a lot coming. But I need to get this done because I got to go make dinner because it's Bible study night. One of the best nights of the week. And the dog agrees, apparently. Our neighbor dog really has opinions. I'll see you guys later.